Hello and welcome to FinextraTV at EBAday 2020. I'm Hannah Wallace, and kindly calling into our virtual studio now is Mick Fennell from Temenos. So hello Mick, welcome.
Hello Hannah, nice to speak to you.
Lovely to speak to you too. So the first thing I really want to talk to you about is this impact COVID-19 is having on our industry, and it's bound to be a big topic over the course of EBAday. So let's start there. How would you describe the impact it's having, particularly on businesses and processes? Let's start there.
Yeah, well, I suppose the first thing is maybe talk a bit about a few of the positives, which seems a bit weird, but actually it's a shared human experience. All of us across Europe in many different countries with different regimes, but also around the world, we've all been impacted by the same thing. So one thing I'm quite enjoying is talking about the shared experience, no matter who you're talking to. And we all have different experiences. It's all novel to us, and everyone's trying to get through as best they can. So I think that is quite a nice thing for us to do that as a shared thing. Now, remote working, I mean, that's one of the biggest impacts that we've all had. Here we are, we're not at EBAday, we're not there enjoying ourselves, we're at home enjoying ourselves. Well, some of us are, Hannah. And, with that, the businesses that we service, first of all, we as Temenos, we are a major vendor to the banking financial marketplace. We do a lot of implementation software changes, and we changed over in the first 6 months of this year. We've done more implementations and more go lives than we did the previous year, the first 6 months. So from a technology point of view, from a service provision point of view, yes, we've had to go 100% remote delivery, but it really has not affected. In fact, in some ways, it's kind of improved in how we're servicing our customers, and also how our customers are taking that stuff. So that's another positive, and I don't see that changing as we go forward, really. Also, teams within the banks, they've had to learn to work remotely together. You would have teams in the payment space, especially around exception management, that would maybe work together, but now they've all had to do it remotely. And again, that's impacted how their systems are helping them do that. So, everyone's done well on that. But finally, revenues are down. Although volumes are down slightly, the big impact is digital is up. And obviously what it's done is it's changed people's perception of where we're going, or accelerated how we're going to digital. So it has upped the ante, it has strengthened the business case, it has made people realize, A, that we can do it, but B, that they need to do it. So that's kind of the bigger picture.
All right, so I think the key word there is acceleration. But I want to talk a bit more about the impact, because I want to look at the regulatory side of things. How has this impacted the deadlines for industry initiatives, do you think?
Yeah, well, ironically, acceleration, it's actually decelerated some of them, because obviously some of the major regulatory timelines have been delayed. The deadlines have been put back. Whether COVID has given a nice excuse to some organizations, but it has affected things. And so a number of the deadlines are put back. But, what hasn't changed is the fact that regulatory changes are coming, and people are having to make those changes. It's not just about regulations, it's your processes. So when we look at Swift CBPR Plus, the ISO migration, when we look at Target 2, you're also looking at things like CHAPS in Europe, P27 in Nordics. They're still going to happen. Some of the deadlines have been put back a year, which actually has its positives. It allows a lot of the organizations be a little bit more strategic in how they're going to address these challenges. So it has delayed, there has been an impact, but the fact that what we have going on in payments is kind of driven by regulation, by industry, happen. And now, the time is running out. The delay, we're suddenly back to where we were. And so those implementations, those changes have to start taking place.
It's interesting, isn't it? Especially looking at how we're going to be navigating the coming months. And that's sort of leads me into my next question. What are the longer term considerations for COVID-19? And what is the world going to look like eventually as we get to grips with the pandemic? Sort of the crystal ball question, as it were.
Yeah, well, first of all, I think people are starting to see a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Um, it's still quite a far way in front, and we're not sure if we're going to get there or how quickly we're going to get there. We talked earlier about acceleration in digital. So, you know, at the end of this, we believe that there's going to be a major acceleration in digital. Um, if we think about it, in 12 months' time, let's say the second half of 2021, towards the end of 2021, we would hope that there's vaccines in place, that things are starting. So let's say by the beginning of 2022, that's 14 months away. It's not that far away in things, and you can see the fact that by then there will be a lot of institutions starting to move forward. Businesses will be starting to come back, and that's when there'll be winners and losers. Um, and so um, we are starting to see that. We're starting to see some of people's wallets starting to open up. Certainly in the middle part of this year, there was a hold on a lot of investment, but we're now starting to see those investments. People are starting to look strategically. Certainly the people who are more strategic.
All right, so in summary then, what advice would you give to the industry and companies starting to plan ahead then?
Yeah, well, I think the main thing is to really look at it strategically and be brave. If we look at what happened in the Great Recession between 2008, 2010, and 12, those that invested and look at strategically how they could grow their business and look to the future, they became the winners. We can all remember the winners and losers back then. So we're in almost a similar position. And really, people need to look at their architecture, their capabilities. Are they fit for purpose? And think about how they can move towards things like cloud native, microservices enabled architectures, and to take this opportunity to make that leap forward and to start leaving behind some of the legacy and some of the challenges they currently have. So that's it. Be brave, be positive, and start to move forward strategically.
Brilliant. Well, some very good advice there. And thank you very much for painting the picture for us. And it'll be interesting to see how things develop. But for now, Mick, we'll leave it there. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the event. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Hannah. Pleasure to speak to you.